Physical maturity is determined by your age. Spiritual maturity is determined by your stage. Let me repeat that again. Physical maturity is determined by your age. Means you're 21, they give you a certain privileges. When you are 18, you have certain advantages. When you are 25, you get certain discounts on insurance. When you are a certain age, physical maturity is leveled by your age. In the spiritual maturity is determined by your stage. That means you can be 40 and be a baby. That means you can be, 25 and be a young man or be a father. And the Bible describes to us in this verse and many other verses 3 main stages of spiritual growth. A child, a young person, and a father. Now a child is somebody, like we already mentioned, who cannot take care of himself. It's not because child is lazy. It's not because child is irresponsible. That's what child is. It cannot take care of itself. A child must be taken care of. And if a child is not taken care of, it cannot become a young man. What is a young man? A young man who takes care of himself. A young man is a spiritual stage when a person learns to take care of himself. He pulls his own pants. He wipes his own butt. He brushes his own teeth. He cuts his own nails. And he wakes up by his own without his mother blowing things or pouring water on his face. That's a young man. A young man is he who knows how to fold his own clothes and who knows how to take cereal from the bowl and put it into his own mouth. That's a young man. He takes care of himself. He gets in a car and he drives his own self to school or to college or to work. Nobody drives him. A young man, he is independent and at the same time he takes care of himself. And this is where most of the Christians spend their life. But there's a third stage, a father stage. What is the father? A person cannot be a father until they have a baby. You're not a father when you're 40. You're not a father when you're 50. You're not a father when you're 90. You're not a father when you own 2 cars and a truck and a dog and a cat. You're not a father when you have a home. You're not a father when you can pull a lot of big muscle and pull big weight. You are a father. One thing makes you a father is that you have someone you take care of. So the first stage, somebody takes care of you. Second stage, you take care of you. Third stage, you take care of someone else. The issue we have is this. Remember the prodigal son? The prodigal son was like a child. He needed somebody to take care of him. The older son, he was like a young man. He took care of himself really well. And then the last stage was the father. He took care of both of them. The biggest problem we have in the church today, and this is the challenge we have right now, and we need to address this because where we are headed, people to get saved and people to be mentored and discipled is we need to grow out from youthful stage to become spiritual fathers. Not monsters, not dictators, not lords and rulers, but fathers, people who sacrificially give themselves and their life to mature other people. King Saul used to be a son. He didn't go to a battle without Samuel. Remember those times in the Bible? First battles, he went with Samuel. Samuel, he was a little puppet. Okay, Samuel, okay. There came a time Saul grew. And Saul went to battles by himself without Samuel. Everything was good. But Saul never transitioned to be a father. When David came on the scene, it was his time to grow up. It was his time to take David and says, okay, God has brought this kid into my home already. He married my daughters. He's right here. I need to prepare him for a kingdom. And King Saul, though he was getting older physically, he stayed spiritually on the same level. And this is what I know. When you don't grow, the people who are supposed to be your sons become your enemies. This happens in the church all the time. When the main pastor grows older, but he doesn't grow spiritually mature. And he holds on to the pulpit and he's 90 and barely breathing. And he will never trust a young man to father a young man. And next thing that happens, church goes through divisions. A young generation rebels against the old generation and there are constantly fights. Why? Because though he's 70, he's still a youth in a spiritual level. If you are born again, that means you need to grow. And if you have been a baby for 10 years, you've outgrown your diapers. You need to be a youth, means you need to start taking care of yourself. But some of us, we've been taking care of ourselves by ourselves too long. Today is the time to go up a little bit higher. No, I'm not talking about to learn Greek, Latin, and Hebrew. I'm not talking about to get a degree and to have a bachelor's in theology and doctrine. No, I'm not talking about where now you can speak in tongues and you can translate the tongues and you can heal the sick. That's not what we're talking about. Spiritual maturity is when you don't no longer take care of yourself, you take care of other people.